Have you ever experienced a foal death from worms?
Yes.
Is it
Yes.
more common than people think?
I believe so, yes. Yep. So there currently is only one product or active ingredient called moxidectin available to us that will treat all stages of that cyathostome life cycle, and the juvenile stage can form little cysts and become and develop a state of arrested development. And if there's a trigger where all those juvenile worms burst out at once from those cysts, that's what we call clinical cyathostomiasis, but it's basically red worm disease. And there's several things that will influence the juvenile to burst out en masse. And that can definitely lead to an acute death, especially a young horse. And often I've found that there's a bit of misinformation about what product has been used on the babies. People believe they've used moxidectin, but the product's packaging looks quite similar to another product. So that's where I think it is so key to have a relationship with your vet and a program set up on farm, right from the brood mare through the foal, the yearling and onwards, for the appropriate treatment at the right time of the year as well.
So which drenches use moxidectin?
So Ultramox and Equest Plus contain moxidectin.
And is it better to, if you don't know when you last wormed them, is it better to just do it again, or is it better to wait?
So if you don't know when you last wormed them and you're wanting to do a fecal egg count, is that right?
Yeah, or just give them a top up.
If you're completely in the dark with when they were last done, I would advise a fecal egg count, because if you have really high numbers of eggs coming through, indicating a possibly a large burden of worms, then I would advise monitoring the horse during the treatment process, because it can knock them around with that amount of larvae or adult worms on board. So that would be my advice, is always use the fecal egg count first if you're not sure where you're at. Yeah.
And how do the worms affect sport horses?
So horses that, particularly, we normally see in about 20% of the horse population, regardless of breed, age, size, paddock management, 20% of them will have poor immunity against worms. And so if they haven't been identified and managed appropriately, they'll be the poorer doing horses that are harder to keep weight on, that seem, do they have ulcers? They're just not, with the amount of feed they're getting, they're not doing as well as the rest of their paddock mates. So ultimately, this does affect their performance as an athlete, and it also affects your pocket as an owner from an economical point of view. So yeah, the added stress of the worms on their immune system is a real thing. Yeah.
Great.